part to use. Materialism is the primacy of matter, not the sole existence of matter, but that matter is primary. Because of course, as Africans, we know that we have dialectics. Dialectics, you have the polarity, the principle of polarity, you have duality. Of course, we know you have material, you also have immaterial. So we're going to get to that in a second. But unity and struggle are opposites. We're talking about ways of analysis, okay? Ways of analysis for the revolutionary. Of course, unity. Unity means togetherness, right? Unity is togetherness. So, good example of this is a line. We're gonna call this line the dialectic, because different things exist on different dialectics. For instance, I'm gonna use the example of red and yellow. Okay, but red and yellow are both colors. So, hence the unity together. They both colors. They're both on the color dialectic. Okay, but the unity and struggle of opposites. Struggle part comes in because red is red. Red is not yellow. Okay? And then, of course, yellow is yellow. Yellow is not red. Of course, there are varying degrees when you are working on this line. But, of course, again, there are different ways to show the dialectic, like the yin and yang symbol, yin and yang symbol, as well as, as you can see that there will be varying degrees. Another example I like to use to show dialectics is a sphere, because we want to understand that there's many different colors on the dialectic. But without getting all philosophically abundant with it, I'm just going to say we can see that this line, the line, of course, being the dialectic of colors, there's the unity. The unity, of course, and the struggle is there. I'm going to use, for example, freedom and slavery. Okay? On the dialectic, of course, would be conditions of people or workers. You see what I'm saying? Condition, it's a different dialectic condition of people or workers. But then, of course, there's the unity because there's the condition. We're only going to be in, there's a condition. The unity. The struggle, of course, is we're either going to be slave or free. And then, of course, we're dealing with various different degrees of slavery or freedom. The unity and struggle of opposites. Unity of opposites. Struggle of opposites. Unity and struggle of opposites. So we understand that it's a process. Getting to the process aspect of it is history. Now, again, we're speaking on a way of thinking of philosophies for revolutionaries. We talked about metaphysics, speaking on the analysis aspect and the different aspects of analysis. Now, we use history as a form of analysis because, of course, one thing we know about history is, okay, history is the past, is things that happen, but it's part of a process. Like, we're living history right now. The masses make history. The people as a whole are what make history. So, again, we utilize history. In our case, we say we use history as a weapon. During the 60s, you had different people marching, of course, because some said, this is our dignity. We want our human rights. I am a man. I am a person. I am a being. They wanted this recognized. And then someone else could say, well, they were marching for acceptance. But the thing is, in the 60s, we see that they were marching. Some were marching for integration, and some were marching for black power. And then when we see these things, we see that dialectic, of course. But one of the things about history, when you analyze, of course, you're going to ask what happened. You want to see why it happened, how it happened. You want to, you get the intricate details out of something that happened, because when we analyze, we're utilizing history as a weapon. As a weapon, of course, toward the objective of freedom. Another aspect of dialectical and historical materialism, of course, is the materialism aspect. Again, we're dealing with analysis. So we're going to get to materialism. Matter is primary. Again, not the sole existence of matter. We're not talking about only matter exists, but that the primacy of matter. So matter is primary. Okay? Now, another aspect of materialism is, or that matter has inner motion. Matter has inner motion, and matter has self motion. Okay? Another aspect is categorical conversion. It's called categorical conversion, which brings us to quality and quantity, and then egalitarianism, which we'll get to also as an aspect of matter. Matter has inner motion, matter has self-motion. We are taught that in inner motion, as in, just like with an atom, there's a neutron, and then neutrons, electrons, protons, that these things are at tension with each other. This tension, of course, is inner motion. By virtue of something having inner motion, if it can move within itself, then of course it has self-motion. But, of course, as revolutionaries, we're talking about change. So we look at, I just say as an example, we a lot of times spend a lot of time on the individual, which we know an individual is part of the whole, as we understand. But just saying, inner motion as our people. Our people are constantly, we have a tension. We have a tension of ideas. Even within a person, they have a tension of ideas or a tension of decisions. But anyway, this inner motion makes self-motion, which you can also show like with the yin and yang. You have the dialectic is represented, but then of course you can see the motion. And then of course from that inner motion there will be self-motion. Not only self-motion as a result of inner motion, but also self-motion because of inner motion. Self-motion because of inner motion, as in there's inner motion, so there's self-motion. But of course, self-motion as a result of inner motion. Like for instance, looking at the past, we can see that there was an inner tension between integration and black power, promoted a self-motion of advancement, period, for black people. What we want to get to now is categorical conversion. Now when we say categorical conversion, we're talking about a change. We're looking at analysis. We're analyzing, we're looking at how, breaking a complex down to its basics. So with categorical conversion, there's a change in relation. We understand that from, we looked at that there's a change in relation, how things relate to each other. But with materialism and philosophical scientism, there's a change in property. Okay? There's a change in property. So like I say, we had that inner motion, self-motion, but when we're converting, we obviously